CBS News 7.
Your seats are too goddamn small!
If your big, round, beluga bop whale-looking self needs an accommodation in the cargo hold, we can make that happen.
We are here live at the scene of a shocking incident where a woman killed her husband for walking on the floor she mopped. Has she been arrested?
Not yet. We are waiting for the floor to dry. Welcome back to the Spectrum News Network. I'm your host, Marshmallow Jenkins. We have some extremely tragic news for you tonight. The only Hooters in my town has shut down. I drove my moped to the promised land on my lunch break today, and I was shocked to discover that the happiest place on earth has become nothing but a memory. A culinary institution that was once the heartbeat of Tickletoe County locked its doors for the last time this week as it filed for bankruptcy. As the earth shifted beneath my Crocs in that empty parking lot, it began to rain. As if even the sky knew what had been lost to the cruel, twisted hand of fate. I began to wonder where Kelly could be. Is she thinking about me? Wondering where I am? My soul is now bankrupt of boobies. But do I get to file these feelings? No, I must carry on. I must become the man that my dad wanted me to be. The man that was born when Kelly hugged me that one time and absolutely smothered my face with those squeezers. Because if I can't become that man, well, I don't deserve Kelly and her massive upper deckers, do I? So that's what I must do. I won't just survive this tragedy, I'll become stronger from it. Stronger than I've ever been. I know more jiggly honkers are out there, and I'll find them.
This just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost. Keisha, guess where I am? Girl, they sent me to Iran. Who's gonna fill in? Girl, that. They got some good ass food here though. Did you not see me? Dead ass. Move. I don't even care for real. Bitch.
Thanks, Chris. Known for their unmatched ability to cause complete havoc in school zones, Walmart parking lots, and Taco Bell drive-thrus. Y'all lucky I ain't bring Keisha.
The Pentagon has confirmed these drivers were selected based on three things: unpaid registration, loud exhaust, and vibes. God help us all. Welcome to the Black News Network. I'm your host, Papa Cap and Yo Ass Jones. Tonight's story, BNN weather reporter and local ho Keisha McRib thinks she too good for me. The part-time weather reporter and full-time community mattress was begging me to come through and lay this pipe last Friday, but now she want to act like she don't know me. She ain't ever had a problem asking me to pay for her food, but when it come time to show me what that mouth do, the hoe proudly lied, I ain't that kind of girl. So we just gonna act like you ain't already popping Plan Bs like they a daily vitamin. Oh, please. The dry cleaners won't even take your business anymore. They all tired of cleaning up baby batter stains off your clothes. Don't ever ask me to DoorDash you no crab legs again. You ain't never gonna feel these biggity black balls snocking all up on that tuna fish hot pocket garage door. And she wanna walk around here like we strangers now? Here's a forecast for any men thinking they about to get some neck work from this hoe. Expect a 100% chance of STDs. Don't be texting me next week saying I miss you, chocolate thunder, come and get this deep dish. I ain't no hot and ready midnight snack hoe. You just missed the free shrimp. And now here's Keisha McRib with the weather.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania.
This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses.
A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of donglode. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a jizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen Jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the Big Beautiful Bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
All right. What up, y'all? Yo, salute, chat. All right, I see y'all packed in here early, man. You see, we still going on around 11, man. I'm trying to ease my way back to 10 o'clock. Let me say what's up to the chat. Salute, Kwame, yo. I'm getting your links, man. I'm actually going to cover all the stuff you sent me. I'm spacing it. I'm going to space most of it out next week, through next week. Universal Black in the building. What up, Playboy? Red Sigma. Yo, I want to thank all y'all for coming out for me and Saul's interview with Obsidian yesterday, man. That was a big coup for us, man. But like I said, we've been listening to Obsidian for years. Actually, to have him on the channel and interview him in person, man, was kind of a big deal. What up with you, brother Zeke? Irvin Reed in the building. Salute, gents. All right, guys, let's do some news, man. Let's do some news. It's Friday. We're going to go through a couple stories and call it a wrap. And I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. If we're doing a reboot of Demon Time, they're going to rename it. I think it's going to be Slipknot, Mr. O. When I get something definite on it, probably we probably end up with Irvin Reed. But we can get everybody to agree on the show idea. But if the reboot ain't tomorrow, I'll be back here tomorrow night with another news desk. And you know, the Sunday show is Sunday. All right, man, let's do some news. Man, stuff that went crazy in the last 48 hours. I'm not going to cover everything. I am going to cover the ICE agents being attacked and whatnot. Shout out to Quiet Storm. He sent me actually a couple of these earlier today. So, yeah, contractor cool, man. He had to go dark, bro. He had to go dark. You know how that shit go. He had to go dark. We got it plug and play over here. We really got the network thing going on over here. We got some programming and stuff like that, and we got it so that we could swap people in and out and keep the show going. Because you know, our subscribers really depend on the content, man. We weren't aware of that until we started getting emails like, hey, especially when I moved to Columbia the first time and we was down for about 3 weeks. They was like, when the Sunday show coming back? So, you know, we make that effort to constantly put out this content. But you already know they fired on ICE agents. Let them play them games, man. They picked the right president for this one. But this is Tom Holman. I want to go through this one. Um, and then I want to go through double down on this Ketanji Brown Jackson because she's continuing to get the required heat by showing that she actually is a DEI hire Supreme Court justice. And like I was saying with that, like um, this is the first black female justice. And this is what the Keishas decided to go with. And it's going to, from a historical standpoint, it's going to bite them in the ass because this isn't like a HR job or some type of corporate job where you can underperform and get fired and no one knows anything about it. Every one of her displays of her being intellectually out of her depth, having to spar with 8 other justices who are at the height of their game in terms of intellectual prowess with regard to the law, the Constitution, the application of the law, judicial review, as it were. She's going to show up. She's going to keep coming up short. And these inadequacies are going to be recorded for history. So this is from a historical standpoint, this is going to seal in with regard to the ethnic image, the Keisha inadequacy. This is a win for us, as far as I'm concerned. Clarence Thomas, the first black man on the Supreme Court, has turned out to be a judicial titan. So, in terms of ethnic image for black men, yay for us. And even, Clarence Thomas caught a lot of heat, like in the 90s, for his conservative stances on things like that. He was called the coon, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said, history absolves people. It turns out that a lot of calls that he called with regard to his decisions on the Supreme Court have stood the test of time. And it turns out that many black men have come to his way of thinking with regard to his rulings. So salute to us. But let's get into it, man. Let's do Tom Holman with his response to this ongoing violence against ICE agents, federal enforcement agents, which once again, he is simply enforcing the laws that were put out by Congress. He makes they are a law enforcement arm. They don't make law. These laws are put out by Congress, and via executive order, etc. They are merely an enforcement agent, and more so to the point, they're getting the legal aliens out of the country.
All right, back to the breaking news that we brought you earlier this hour. ICE agents arrested an MS-13 kingpin in Nebraska. He has now been identified as Melvin Varela Perez. He has been on El Salvador's most wanted list for nearly a decade, but was somehow released into the United States after he crossed the border illegally in 2023. Let's bring in White House border czar Tom Homan. Tom, let me just put up the record here of this guy that somehow got missed. First of all, here's the mugshot from his arrest in Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Now here is or Omaha, Nebraska. I'm sorry. Here is the picture from 2016. This was put out by the National Police. He's on the top 100, Los 100 Más Buscados. Then here's another notice from 2019. Looking for the same guy, and another one from 2019 that was put out by Crime Stoppers looking for this guy. And yet somehow, Tom, when he came across the border illegally in 2023, he was paroled into the country. How in the world could that have happened?
Well, look, this is just one example of what I've been saying for the last 4 years. The Biden administration lied to the American people. When they said everybody they released in the country is properly vetted, they weren't. First of all, we don't have access to other countries' criminal data, but as you said, this was the public information, and this has been easily found. But this administration, their main focus under Biden administration, Border Patrol had one directive: process quick, release quick. Because if there's no overcrowding, we can keep claiming the border is secure and we got control of everything. And they kept lying to the American people. Everybody releases vetted. I can't tell you how many criminals under the Trump administration we have arrested and deported that were released in the country by Joe Biden, saying they were vetted. We have arrested murderers, people that were convicted of murder in other countries. People had murder warrants in other countries. People had sexual assaults in other countries. People had sexual assaults here that they weren't found during the vetting process because they weren't vetted. The last administration lied, and that's why we're so busy right now going across the country trying to find these people.
All right, so I could go you one better on this, Melvin Varela Perez. So he was nailed in Omaha with another guy named Rene Escobar Ochoa. We'll put his picture up on the screen for you. This guy had an Interpol red notice against him for drug trafficking and conspiracy to commit murder. He had an Interpol notice against him, and that got missed. How does that happen?
Incompetence. I mean, it incumbents from last administration, their directive to how Border Patrol process and releases without proper vetting. And also, let's remember, ICE was told by Secretary Mayorkas, you can't arrest for someone being here illegally. They probably weren't even looking at this person unless you had a serious criminal conviction, not a warrant, not a want, but a conviction. So look, the last administration, they totally screwed it up from releasing people from the border with non-vetting to tying ICE's hands. We had a record number, 10.5 million illegal aliens come to our border, and Joe Biden, ICE had the lowest numbers of arrests and removals in the history of the agency because their hands were tied. And that's why we're working so hard under President Trump, under his leadership. We're working so hard right now, sending as many teams out in the communities as possible to look for these criminals that the last administration released in this country. And that's why we're so busy right now, and that's why you see all the teams out in every major city in the nation.
All right, Mark Zito is the special agent in charge of the Kansas City Homeland Security investigations. Here's what he said about these arrests. He said, quote, these illegal aliens didn't just sneak into our country. They brought with them a legacy of violence, terror, and death. They thought they could hide in America's heartland, but they were sadly mistaken, not on our watch. So two things falling out of that. First of all, these two guys, this is the worst of the worst.
Let me actually comment on that. I mean, we already know this. So we know the border crossings is stalled to a complete halt, 0 crossings. Phenomenal in and of itself. In addition, Trump has a mandate from the public, from both the Electoral College and the popular vote. He ran on deporting and getting these illegal migrants out, many of which under the Biden administration are violent criminals. We know this is just like the movie Scarface, Miami in the 80s, when Castro emptied the prisons and marched them to the shores and sent them to Miami. This is the exact same thing. Venezuela, all these people, they emptied their mental asylums and their prisons. And then all countries from all over the world, like we found all these Iranian terrorist sleeper cells. So open-handed into the border. We also covered this week from the Epoch Times showing that where all of the migrants were sent were in these swing states where they were trying to pad the numbers for the 2030 census so that the Democrats don't lose congressional House seats, because each state gets 2 senators and the number of congressmen is determined by the census numbers in those states. This is so they were trying to manipulate the system. We know this. So, and I like Holman. Holman reminds me of like these old school, and he was a beat cop and a police officer. These old school cops where they just told you how it was. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Old school, like it's like the cops you used to see on TV and the old cops and robber shows when you were like a kid and shit. He's got that whole aura flex. And actually, let me say, Irvin Reed said with regard to my statement about Clarence Thomas, he said our problems on that level comes from our divergence from Thurgood Marshall. I agree with that. I agree with that. And the other thing with Clarence Thomas is like, you gotta, there's a biography documentary on him where like they actually talked to him, and like, bro, he's mad deep, bro. You know, he was dark skinned, you know, he's direct descendant from slaves. I'm talking about like 1 generation removed. He's literally from the super racist South, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, he's black looking, and the irony of it is he was a pro-black and a Marxist of all things prior to becoming conservative. And you see that his very much like what's happening with black men now, like this whole transition from this liberal Keisha thinking to a more conservative stance. He had already done that. You know, his training as an attorney and being a brilliant legal mind, that level of reasoning reasoned him out of a lot of that, you know, that hotepism and the Marxism, and led him toward a more conservative stance. It's on YouTube. I saw it like years ago, like, and it blew my mind when I watched it. Like Clarence Thomas is like a real ninja, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you actually hear him talk. And if you also remember with the Anita Hill thing, he was the first person that was a victim of Me Too. And who Me Too'd him? Joe Biden and Anita Hill. Joe Biden. The irony of it is that Joe Biden was the adamant opposition to the black man, Clarence Thomas, being on the Supreme Court, making an argument that he was incompetent and not qualified, didn't have the intelligence. And this is the same Joe Biden that put Akeisha or the Supreme Court, who couldn't define what a woman is. You see how all this is coming full circle? We're going to jump into Ketanji Brown Jackson right after this Homan segment. Brother Zeke with the $5 super chat. He said, most educated, less than these BWs, always competing for masculine roles. Yet Justice Jackson, Premium Keisha, cannot answer what is a woman. Hashtag shaking my damn head. Straight up.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. And fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. And fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. And fuck all you hoes.
But all right, let's go through some more of the chat real quick. Yeah, brother Zeke. He said, yeah, now that's a border czar, not Cammy. Cammy, who actually only went to the border twice. Brother Zeke, Cocaine Cowboys. Yeah, great documentary. Yeah, that's what I'm referencing. The Miami cocaine boom, like Miami, like the that show Miami Vice, those skyscrapers, those was built with cocaine money. Oh, Mac, I see you in the building, Playboy. Kwame Kaiju, you say, yeah, Holman reminds me of my old Sergeant Major when I was in the Corps. Yeah, he got that thick neck too. But like I said, and bear in mind, Holman was a border czar under 4 presidents. So he was in position under Obama. I think he was not in position under Biden. It was what's his face? What's her face was Cammy. But yeah, he served 4 presidents. Okay, Kwame. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You say, yeah, I have that documentary on Justice Clarence Thomas. Yeah, I mean, I mean it, guys. I highly recommend it. Like, the propaganda around Clarence Thomas, like, bro, we had it all wrong. And like I said, when you watch his documentary, like, yo, Clarence Thomas is a real ninja, bro. Like, he's a real nigga, guys. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to have he had a brilliant legal mind. And once again, it was George Bush Sr. who nominated him for the Supreme Court and fought tooth and nail for him. Hey, Kwame, let him know what's the name of the documentary. If you for Brother Zeke, if you could put it in the chat for him. I saw it years ago, but I was blown away when I seen it. Yeah, it's free on YouTube now. Kwame, if you know the name of it, put it in the chat for us before before the stream goes. We take the stream, we close the stream out. So let's get back to a little bit of more of this Holman.
How many more like them got into this country? Do we know? And secondly, you're going after these bad guys. And again, these are the worst of the worst International Interpol red notices top 100 most wanted in El Salvador, and yet ICE and Border Patrol agents are being attacked for trying to get these guys off the streets. Comment on both those things, if you would.
Well, first of all, how many? I know that we got at least 600,000 illegal aliens in this country with criminal records walking the streets of this country. As far as how many criminals and national security threats the Biden administration released in the country, we don't have a clear number on that. We got over 2 million known gotaways. 2 million people crossed the border under Biden, weren't arrested, weren't vetted, weren't fingerprinted. They got away because the Border Patrol is so overwhelmed that humanitarian crisis. So we don't have a number. And that's why we're working so hard with the intelligence community and FBI, ICE. We're all working together trying to find these people. And look, this is why I'm proud to be a part of this administration. President Trump has given the leadership that we're not going to zero tolerance. We're out there looking for every single criminal threat and national security threat we can find in this nation. As far as the hate, it's because the media is lying to the American people. They keep talking about ICE raiding schools, ICE raiding churches, which isn't happening. We are focusing on the public safety threats. The men and women ICE put their lives online every day for this nation. They're American heroes. But I knew from day one, we talked about this, John, from day one, I said they're going to vilify ICE, they're going to vilify the Border Patrol, because they don't want President Trump to be successful. They hate Trump more than they love their communities. They hate Trump more than they want law enforcement, but we're not giving them to them. We're going to be out there every damn day across this nation with over 1,000 teams looking for these.
Spot on what Holman said. Yo, brother Zeke, Kwame found it right there. It's called Created Equal. Put it in a YouTube search engine. It's a really good documentary. You'll get a very good, well-rounded view of him as a human being, because they asked him the hard questions, like, how did you feel about, being attacked by the black community and being called a coon and stuff like that? And you could see in his face, he was genuinely hurt. But then, like I said, if you look at the irony is that so many black men now, in this time that we're all trending conservative now. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you look at him, he was the first Me Too. Like I said, that's a Democratic thing, and that was by Biden. Biden put Anita Hill up to Me Too in him. Do you know what I'm saying? And and basically just trying to destroy his reputation prior to him becoming a Supreme Court justice. And like I said, with that being said, over the test of time, like history has proved him right. And like I said, he's a titan on the Supreme Court now. He's the big dog. You know what I'm saying? Everyone defers to him. And like I said, all of his dissenting opinions and majority opinions, they're all written down, and you can see the brilliance of his legal reasoning. And like I said, this is as bad as Ketanji Brown Jackson is, and we know that she's a DI hire, this is also a win for us, because we'll have a Clarence Thomas with all of his brilliant legal reasoning for the public record, and then we'll have the Keisha, who's the DEI, and it will be written down in history the difference in intellectual prowess between the two. Like I said, man, we got a lot of wins on our hands happening in real time. It's a wonderful time to be alive and to be able to have the conversation in real time about it, so that we have the the proper perspective on how we're viewing the time and space that we're in. Red Sigma says, putting these immigrant blacks in position over us. Yep, exactly. Is the worst mistake black people ever made. And you guys see how it's playing out with this blowback at the Essence Festival. They got the Kenyan woman running it. Like they come over, they're cosplaying our culture, then at the same time trying to erase our culture, telling us we have no culture while wearing their baseball caps backwards and Timbs and talking with slang. You dig me? Like the level of disrespect is off the charts, and I'm, like I said, we disagree with Tariq Nasheed on a lot of things, but you got to give flowers where flowers are due. His his argument with regard to the nuance of FBA and this and tethering, because that's really what it is. It's tethering. It's an action. It's a verb. Um, it's really helped with the delineation and also been able for us to see things. And when you start looking at, congressmen that are in place and people that you're seeing with brown skinned news anchors, and you start realizing, oh, they're not FBA. No wonder they're not working for us. The Joy Reid, who's really from the Congo. No wonder. Abby Phillips, who's really Trinidadian. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you start to be like, yo, they didn't pull the slick one on us. Let me see. Reed said putting them or putting themselves under, big difference. Yeah. Kwame says, I got into my mom about Clarence Thomas. Yeah, exactly. But that was that leftover off the gate that he was a Republican, he was conservative. And like I said, even that line of thinking, that's a new line of thinking for the blacks as a whole, community wise. That's post 1960s LBJ civil rights bill. Like I said, if you go back, most black people were Republicans. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a recent thing. Let me see. Ironic Biden had some female stuff. Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. Tara Reid. Yeah. And I think the us citizen journalists and like doing media analysis like we do like this. This has really helped tear apart the effectiveness of the mainstream media news and their propaganda machine. Like, and they're drowning.
These people every single day. We're not stopping.
Well, I'll tell you, Tom, the fact that two guys like this got into the country undetected, now they're off the streets, that's good. But the fact that they got it and there could be more, that is truly frightening. Tom Homan for us from the White House. Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.
All right, Bell, let's load up this Ketanji Brown segment because this is a good segment. Because, I thought all the fire and smoke around her decision would, it lasts like 72 hours in the news cycle. No, sirree, Bob. They're digging in on this. And to some degree, it's understandable. Like, the Supreme Court is not the job that you show up at and and underperform. You know what I'm saying? It's not the HR job. You know what I'm saying? That's the wrong place to get hired as a DEI hire because you're just going to drown in public. Do you know what I'm saying? The nature of the court being adversarial and that you have to your arguments and your level of proficiency is out there for the world to see, and it's basically written in stone. Like, these decisions and arguments by the Supreme Court, like, they last hundreds and hundreds of years. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to think about it this way: like 100 years from now, if this country's still here, they're going to be looking back at like the first Keisha Supreme Court justice's arguments, and like they're going to be like, it's going to be on and the dumbest Supreme Court judge in history. Like, bro, it's really bad. And I think she's also set a precedent that another Keisha Supreme Court justice will never be nominated again. That's the other thing. She's going to be the first and the last. There'll be a black male Supreme Court justice before there'll be another Keisha, because this is how terrible she's performed. Everybody said, y'all see the ex-New York police guy on PBJ on Patrick David today? No, I'll have to look at that. Brett said, we won't know the extent of who came through the Biden open border till something happens. Yo, exactly. All right, let's go. Let's do this Ketanji Brown segment. And this one is diversity hire. Biden Supreme Court pick exposed as pure identity politics. And it's my man Payne. His suit game is off the charts, a bit flamboyant, but my man is rich.
For the last year is talk about AI and the future, but something odd's happening in America, right? We're forging ahead into this world of AI. Super intelligent robots are going to do everything. We'll have the answer to everything at our fingertips. But we're also digging in deeper, even deeper into the sort of realm of feelings, ruling decisions rather than rules of logic. The left now circling the wagons around Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Wall Street, and on Wall Street, by the way, many of them are doing the same thing. When you hear talk about the independence of the Federal Reserve, a lot of that's just circling the wagons around Jay Powell, who, by the way, in my opinion, seems to be allowing his personal feelings toward Trump to hurt his job and tarnish his legacy. You can see those two champing at the bit, ready to go. Co-host of Big Money Show, Taylor Riggs, along with Fox Nation host David Webb. So let's start.
Oh wait, Jackson's immigrant too? See, that's what I'm talking about. The black man, Clarence Thomas, is the FBA. So this is what I'm talking about, like the how the Democratic Party shits in your face. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to be like, all right, we'll get a black woman, but it ain't going to be an FBA black woman. It's not going to be a competent woman. You understand what I'm saying? They give you something to drown you with at the same time. Like I said, history's absolved Clarence Thomas. Like I said, he's a titan.
Let's just start with the Supreme Court thing, right? I mean, golly, it's one thing when a fellow justice sort of comes at you, right? Because I don't know how usual it is. You're the lawyer in the group, but now when a fellow liberal justice says, "Hey, you may not know the law," and then we're hearing from Justice Jackson that it doesn't matter. She's speaking from the heart. She's speaking from experience, and that's how she's going to decide these cases.
Really interesting thoughts, and I'll let you weigh in. I think one of my favorites is in one case, she said, with Roe v. Wade, when they overturned that, well, if you don't like, you can't, it's too much of a hardship to move states. So how dare you take away the right for an abortion? But then in the latest birthright citizenship case,
Guys, and you guys just gotta appreciate what's actually going on. So the decision's already been made by the court. She wrote her dissenting opinion. The judge who actually excoriated her, and like when you read the legal, rebuttal to her dissent, you're like, oh, it doesn't sound that bad. But from like ultra nerd, ultra intellectual legal speak, she destroyed her. It was like the snobbery and condescension of the response. It was like, in effect, your dissent is so stupid, it's not even worth the ink for us to actually give you a full paragraph. We're going to give you a couple sentences. Like, that's how embarrassing it is. So there's that. We're past the 72-hour like news cycle. The very fact that your dissent is like the subject for open discussion on the mainstream news, in the New York Times, and the argument is, and the basis of the argument is, now bear in mind, this is the first Keisha Supreme Court justice who, even during her confirmation, couldn't define what a woman is. But you do realize that on mainstream television, the segment we're about to, and this has been ongoing more than 72 hours, because this just came out today, that they're having a discussion about how stupid you are. Did you get that? Like, this is the discussion. And this is a dissenting opinion. So this isn't like the majority opinion that, that's the actual decision that has weight and gravity. This is just a dissenting opinion. But you have publicly shown yourself to be so intellectually inept that it's the subject for mainstream news segments, the dissenting opinion, and New York Times articles, etc. This is catastrophic.
I believe it was, or no, the LGBTQ case on the book, she said, well, if you don't like the school, you can just move states.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. And I think that's why people are really just so frustrated with, they feel like the whole system has been really politicized. So I think it's sad. I wish it wasn't like this.
And David, we're seeing this also now, even more so with these judges, you know, who seem to have the same power as the executive branch these days.
Well, look,
Yo, off topic real quick. Hold on. Did I read that right? Yo, Zeke, you said side note after this studying for my cloud practitioner exam next. So you taking the exam next week? Yo, man, cross my fingers for you, man. The practitioner's actually not that difficult. It's a good chance you'll do pretty well, man. Yo, that's good news, man. Buckle up, take the exam, knock it out. Wishing you luck, man. And that's good to hear, bro. That's what I'm saying. Brothers in the chat trying to level up their skills, heading in the STEM direction, getting ready for the AI revolution. Slipknot in the building. Salute, sir. I see you, Playboy. We had Obsidian on here last night. Me and Saul interviewing him. I'm gonna hit you with an email after I get off here. Like, let me know what you want to do with these Saturdays, bro. It's all you. Zeke said next weekend, fam. Trying to get that before I start. Yo, that's a good idea. Yeah, get your practitioner before you show up to the conclave, the Class 7 in Miami, because that's gonna be full AI, the whole shit. So yeah, you'll be good to go. Yo, man, congratulations, bro. I'm proud of you, man. I'm still studying for my SAA right now. All right, let's get back to this.
The qualifications of the Supreme Court don't necessarily mean you have to be a lawyer or a judge, but you do have to have some level of jurisprudence. The fact is, Ketanji Brown Jackson was a diversity hire by Joe Biden, who was a justice equivalent of Kamala Harris. She doesn't carry the legal fortitude or willingness to engage.
Bingo. She is the legal equivalent of Kamala Harris. And the crazy thing is, someone put a clip together, like with Ketanji actually in her interview talking, and she sounds just like Kamala. It's a word salad. I might have to put a montage of that together so we can have a good laugh.
Remember Amy Coney Barrett's response to her that she would argue for an imperial judiciary while railing against an imperial presidency. And that's activism. The court used to have what's called the greater good argument, which I never believed in, regardless of which side it falls on. It's supposed to be based on law, interpretation of law, and the Constitution as applies. That's the role of the court. Problem is, activist judges, in this case, someone who's not qualified to be on the court, is exactly that. So she's incapable of separating herself like a Justice Kennedy used to do. What was Justice Kennedy known for? Being that independent voice that would assess whether you agreed or disagreed. He had a logic and a process.
Brother Zeke said, give us the Philly interpretation of the response to Justice Jackson. Yo, fuck you talking about? Get out of here with that. Hell yeah. Like, bitches, you dumb? This bitch tripping. I know you ain't just write that down. Yo, that's pretty much what Amy Coney Barrett wrote. Like, bro, when someone responds to your dissent with like 3 or 4 sentences, that's utter disrespect. Like, I went to super nerdy university, like super smart kids, and like, this is how nerds fight. This is like it's like a nerd fight. This is how nerds fight. Oh, you think you're smarter than me? Okay. General knowledge. All right, general knowledge quiz. I'll spot you 2 questions. Shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Kevin, you moderate. We're gonna do a general knowledge challenge. I'll spot you 2 questions. That's how nerds fight, bro.
Real quick on Powell, it's sort of the same kind of thing, right? In this case, you have the New York Times writing this article, sort of defending the actions, and a lot of folks on the street are saying, well, they're circling the wagons and not directly protecting Powell, but saying protecting the independence of the Fed. We got to have an independent Fed, but almost every day, more and more people are saying rates should be cut.
And a lot of people think that the Fed was not independent because they did a jumbo rate cut 2
Right.
weeks before the election. So now that we're trying to claim independence, people are really frustrated. Look, I come down on both sides of this. To me, it's really hard to cut interest rates when stocks are at record highs. But on the other hand, Larry Kudlow always points out inflation is lower now than it was when they did the jumbo rate
Right.
cut. So cut rates to help people on the ground.
And by the way, the stock market's not the economy. Spain's got
fair.
the number 1 stock
That's
market in
fair.
the world and the number 2 unemployment in the world. So,
Yeah, well, you know,
I wanted you guys. I don't know if you guys saw this, right? The town in France called Roubaix, and it's about 40% Muslim city, and you know immigration's gotten out of control. But this is a big giant mural they put up to celebrate our 4th of July. And the reason I bring it up, first of all, this town. They did a survey of all the newspapers out there, about 20,000 towns in France, and based on 20,000 crimes. And this was the city that came in last. So it's extraordinarily violent. But they were talking about our immigration policy. David, today in Gallup, or Pew, I always mix them with Gallup, says that there's a big swing back now on immigration. And people are saying we should go softer. That 30% of people say migration, they want migration decrease from, just only 55%. A record high 79% consider immigration rather good for the country. A lot less support for the border wall and mass deportation. I do think we conflate legal and illegal migration, deliberately. But still, what do you make of how rapidly that's shifting?
Not surprising. First of all, if you do sentiment polls, that shifts over time from top of news to worn out after time in the news. I prefer issue-based polling. If you poll people on issues related to illegal immigration, to safety, just like if you poll them on economics, their economics.
Spot on. That's why we do the by the numbers segment. Just what he just said. Payne is referring to a recent poll that came out that said, public approval with regard to the deportations is starting to shift. But we did a by the numbers, I believe, last week, where Rasmussen compared his polls to the other polls. And what did he do? He went in there and he went through the crosstabs and he saw what questions were being asked. So basically, depending on which questions you ask, you can get the poll to skew the direction you want it to skew. And especially with questions with general sentiment analysis. But if you, just like Dude just said, if you ask a broader policy question, the poll numbers actually skew more toward the approval. So that's why we do the by the numbers segments. Just because what Dude said right here. Quiet storm in the building. He said we in here. All right, that was the majority of that I wanted to cover from that segment. I'm actually going through a couple of the joints you sent me, Storm. Whatchamacallit? Exactly. Confirmation bias in the polling. And like I said, I know the Biden numbers is not a sexy segment. And at this point, I'm pretty much doing it for me, Kwame and Quiet Storm. But the few major segments that we did when our guy over at Rasmussen, Mark, had fresh data set numbers, and he actually goes through the questions and explains the crosstabs and the weighting of the polling, and then compares his polling numbers with other reputable polls like Washington Post, which is a trash poll, because he shows how they skew with the questions that they ask, how they skew it to move toward approval or disapproval or something. And that's exactly why we do the by the numbers segment. So when you hear certain things in the news, this poll says this, and the sentiment, you have to consider the source, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, how did they gather the data? And we do the by the numbers segment also because I don't think conversations like this with regard to polling and politics and being able to do really solid news analysis, brothers was having these conversations. And it's information to arm you with, as you guys go out into the world and you argue with your family members, friends, and associates, because that appears to be working. Which I see the sentiment and the tide turning in the direction that we're going. I believe Quiet Storm sent me this one, and this one is this one was off the radar, but I haven't I haven't reviewed it, but I definitely want to go through this one. This one is new details revealed in Trump assassination attempt nearly 1 year later, and this story is 22 hours old, so it's fresh. It's less than a day old. So I myself actually want to know what's going on with this assassination attempt in Butler, because I know some of the information that came out that Shapiro, the governor there, was already kind of aware of the pending attack, as you were. So I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. All right, let's go.
For answers on the assassination attempt against President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. In a sit-down interview with Lara Trump, the president looks back on that day.
Well, it was unforgettable. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I got whacked. There's no question about that. And fortunately got down quickly. People were screaming, and I got down quickly, fortunately, because I think they shot 8 bullets. Then one got me, and one got another one, and one got another one, and one killed Corey, the firefighter, great guy. And, we had a tremendous, massive crowd. Tens of thousands of people were there.
See, people don't get, like, that's the key to Trump's charm. Like, he's a billionaire, but he's got like a working man's touch. Like, they're talking about him almost getting assassinated, but every time that comes up, he always mentions the firefighter that actually took the bullet that missed him. Like, the bullet hit his head. I mean, whizzed his ear, grazed his ear. He just missed it, but before it stopped, it killed the fireman, and he always mentions the fireman. And like I said, that's the kind of like the key to Trump's like working. People don't understand like why the working class and middle class people like him so much. It's the queens jumping off of him, but it's little things like this.
And our sniper, within less than 5 seconds, was able to get him from a long distance with one shot. If he didn't do that, you would have had an even worse situation.
That full interview airs Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Members of the Butler County Emergency Services Unit tell Fox Nation what it was like to respond.
Be on the lookout for a white male, blonde hair, backpack, on a bicycle.
I immediately contacted the state police sergeant, and I know for a fact he took that information and passed it forward to the Secret Service.
And the Secret Service, they were actually answering you?
I can tell you 100% that the Secret Service was absolutely aware.
That's Corey Comparatore's wife asking those questions. And that's from a brand new Fox Nation special, Butler Under Fire, The Search for Justice. Franco Porperino Jr. and Butler County Sheriff Michael Sloop appeared with me today on the Will Cain Country Show. We talked at length about what we know here 1 year later about Thomas Crooks.
We have exclusive video from Corey Comparatore's phone. She got the phone back from the FBI, and we actually have the video of Corey recording his final moments when shots were fired.
Over the past year, do you feel like you have understood and have answers to that question of who is Thomas Crooks?
Not at all. Not at all. What we know about Thomas Crooks is still very limited.
And now we're learning the Secret Service has suspended 6 agents tasked with protecting President Trump at that rally. The suspensions ranged from 10 to 42 days without pay and happened back in February. Joining me now is former Secret Service agent under President Bush and President Obama, Bill Gage. Bill, thanks for being with us here today. I had a long half-hour conversation with the director of this new documentary. He spent the past year investigating this, and I talked to the Butler County Sheriff's Department as well. Clearly, it didn't go right that day. And I asked them, what went wrong. In the documentary, Bill, you see the TikTok. You hear the testimony of officers saying, we passed the information up about Thomas Crooks' presence to the Secret Service. And yet still he was able to get on top of the building. And yet still Donald Trump took the stage. What failed?
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I didn't know that. That's a new one. So they're basically saying the Secret Service already knew what was going on with the shooter long before the shooter even was able to take a shot, and they just did nothing. Saul in the building, he says, squat, gang, gang, gang. If you know, you know. Yes, the firefighter was with his daughter. I think that's how he got killed. I think he jumped in front of his daughter. Quiet Storm. Yeah, that's why the Secret Service director got fired. She was also a DEI hire. What's this right here? Irvin said, quick note, what's going on in Bmore? They just had an overdose outbreak. I don't know. I'll see if I find a news clip on that. We could do a segment on that. We'll do a segment on that tomorrow. I got to sort through all the stuff Kwame sent me. Brother Zeke said, facts. Learned. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. Learned that from Art of the Deal. Exactly. I read Art of the. I used to walk around with a copy of Art of the Deal in college. That's to say, anybody who actually read any of Trump's books, they knew he was going to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you read Art of the Deal, like everything he's doing with the tariffs and all that shit, you're like, yeah, it makes sense. He's almost blow for blow operating by using the Art of the Deal playbook. The tariff shit, it's all leverage, but he's constantly negotiating and renegotiating until he gets to terms that are agreeable to him. And then he walks in with a BATNA. That's the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if he can't reach his BATNA, he walks away from the deal. That's one of the things in Art of the Deal. Don't be afraid to walk away from the table. Textbook.
Will, and several things failed that day. I've been on other outlets, numerous Fox outlets, talking about this in the early hours and days after the Butler assassination. So one of the main things that failed there, clearly the communications. The Secret Service did not have sort of a unified communication system. The radio comms were dated. When I was an agent, the Secret Service had sort of an antiquated radio system. They've since changed that, and they're in the process of changing that. And one of the other things that failed was the advance team. Clearly, the advance agent did not make specific responsibilities to the local police of who was responsible for what. So, in my opinion, Will, it was really the radio communications and the advance agent not making clear areas of responsibility. And let me just touch on something you said there, Will, that was in the lead up here, that every single event that I went to as a Secret Service agent, every single one, there was reports of a suspicious person, a person with a gun, a person sometimes with a bomb, somebody who was acting strangely. Every single event I went to had that. And the Secret Service has to take what is called a measured response to that. So if every single event this is happening, and every single event there's reports of a suspicious person, the Secret Service cannot go rush the president, or in this case, a presidential candidate, off the stage. It would just be embarrassing for the president or that candidate. So the service has to take what's called a measured response. You have to investigate that. And that's clearly what was going on in Butler. They were getting reports of this suspicious person. They were trying to investigate it the best they could, so to allow the event to continue and to not embarrass then presidential candidate Trump.
I appreciate that, Bill. I understand that every rally there's going to be suspicious individuals. I would have to suggest that one with a rangefinder, ultimately a rifle, who climbs on top of a building might make him.
All right, perfect. All right, perfect. All right, he said it. Because I was getting ready to say, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, we got cell phone cam footage. How did the people in the crowd spot the shooter on the ground, climbing up the ladder to get in position? Then he's in position prior to shooting, and they're yelling and screaming, pointing at the guy. So how does the crowd spot the shooter get in position, and then spot the shooter before he takes the shot, and the Secret Service and the police don't catch him. So whatever dude is talking about, that's goofy. Like, bro, we're in the internet age, bro. Like, we got the footage on the ground. All right, I'm glad the reporter's calling him on that. I hope they don't try to separate the assassination attempts. There's the other thing I think that's going on, because Trump's good at this. Trump will play something out on public and then have something else rolling on the back. Like, I'm sure he's got the black baggers on this on the low, figured out what's going. Because you see, he did the same thing with Iran. He played the play in public, but in the meantime, he had the shooters in the air. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you this, man. You think that he gonna let these boys let off all them shots at him, hit him in public? So basically, y'all trying to kill me now that I'm in power, and I ain't gonna find out who tried to kill me? For real? That's what you think? Okay.
Himself stand out, and that over the course of over an hour, that should have been investigated more thoroughly. And I think there are also questions that were raised earlier today as well about whether or not that advance team and the assets on site that day were adequate to be covering a presidential candidate. And we know from when he returned to Butler, the conditions and the assets dedicated to President Trump were much greater the next time he comes around. So why wasn't there more the first time around? There's plenty of failure, but that shouldn't absolve us from trying to look for exactly where that failure occurred. All right, Bill, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Will Kane.
All right, Will Kane, you did a good job. I was like, yo, you gonna push back on this goofy segue dude's doing? All right, guys, that's my time. We're an hour in. If you want me to do one more segment, I'll find one. We could do one more segment. I'm an hour in. It's Friday. It's my Sabbath. But I had to come on because I told you guys Monday through Friday we didn't do a news desk yesterday because we had Obsidian interview. We at the 1 hour mark. Yeah, if you guys want me to do one more segment, just put a 1 in the chat. I'll pull one more up, and then we can get up out of here. And then, like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow with a fresh news desk. I'll do a full 2 hours tomorrow. All right, I got a 1 for Brother Zeke. All right, I got a 1 from Kwame. All right, let's do another segment. I actually got the WhatsApp open with I actually got you want me to do you want me to find something on Cologne, Germany tomorrow? All right. I'll find something, and I gotta sort through Kwame's joints too, because Kwame sent me. All right, I got Quiet Storm's WhatsApp open. Let's see what he sent me. Give me a second. I'm looking something up. What's this? This is Chinese land grab. Oh yeah, well the Sabbath, I was supposed to be shut down at sundown. I had a long day. As long as I ain't doing no heavy physical labor, I'm straight. Me and Tito be keeping the Sabbath. Here, let me pull up Osmond Gold. Let me see what he got. Here, let me give you guys some drops in the meantime, so you ain't waiting for me.
Breaking news. You said hot girl summer, but accidentally caught feelings. More from our investigators now. Sources confirm that after 3 late-night FaceTimes and a playlist he made just for you, you are now spiraling. We interviewed your best friend, who is currently screaming, "Block him," in all caps.
You once said no strings, no stress. But now you're 3 TikToks deep into how to make him obsessed.
Thank you for watching TikTok News. And remember, don't fall for that good morning text. More tomorrow.
This just in. The United States has officially deployed its most reckless and unpredictable unit to the Middle East, the Ultima Team.
Girl, I'm lost. Keisha, guess where I am? Girl, they sent me to Iran. Who's gonna fill in? Girl, that. They got some good ass food here.
Dying for the right cause is the most human thing we can do.
Can you help this bad bitch with a bad itch get rid of her bacterial vaginosis? Ass crack. Let's look inside. Can we use a pussy scratcher? Oh no. How about this Band-Aid?
All right, bet. Perfect. All right, let's do Osmond. Let's do my boy Osmond. I wanted to cover this anyway. Oh, so we'll do a big piece of this to be the last segment. Y'all know we had these dudes firing gunshots at ICE agents in LA at this cannabis joint. I had wanted to cover this anyway. So let's have some laughs with my boy Osmond Gold reviewing this joint. Let's go.
A $50,000 reward for information on a masked protester who appeared to fire a gun at federal agents during a major.
The reason why is because the other one was just an interview of two girls talking about some bullshit. I want to watch what actually happened.
California immigration raid yesterday.
Doug Luzader joins us now with the very latest. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, good morning, guys. Another rough day for federal immigration agents in California after facing off with violent protesters yesterday. Dozens of people were taken into custody during immigration sweeps at two farming sites,
You can see
including
they
a
got 'em.
marijuana facility. Tear gas, smoke bombs deployed. Agents were pelted with rocks, and federal authorities.
They got to start shooting them, bro. They do. Like, if you throw a rock at a police officer, that can kill you. This is crazy that they let that. This is the reason why California is a shithole. Is because you have people that think that they can throw a rock at a police officer. A police officer is a civilian, and a civilian has a right to self-defense. A rock is a lethal weapon, and I think if a police officer is hit with a rock, they should be able to respond to lethal force with lethal force. Straight up.
Yo. Yo, it's mad funny because I had the same conversation with Saul. I was like, yo, they just need to start shooting these bro. Like he said, I I guess here's the thing, like, I think people are overwhelmingly upset that as American citizens, black, white, or any ethnicity, you do anything to the cops, let alone a federal agent. Like, bro, you're going down with the full weight of the force. They're not.
I'll show you what happened here. This is so stupid.
They're not playing with you. Like we know the deal. Like, we're American, but these people are not citizens. And bro, like, they're using kid gloves on people who aren't even U.S. citizens. They get to attack the police, attack federal agents, and then the elected officials are going out protecting them and all this other shit. So Americans, like I said, black and white, especially black men, because like you got these Keisha politicians out here going to Alligator, Alcatraz, and getting arrested and stuff, defending people who ain't here with no papers, sucking up all of our resources. Like, bro, that's why people are not feeling bad about none of this shit. Like, bro, get them the fuck up out of here. Because it's like, bro, if one of us do that, like, yo, a cop's going to shoot us down in the street. That's a black person or a white person. Like, you're not getting no breaks, bro.
Straight to a Fox News alert, the FBI is ordering a
tear gas, smoke bombs deployed. Agents were pelted with rocks, and federal authorities.
They got to start shooting them, bro. They do. Like, if you throw a rock at a police officer, that can kill you. This is crazy that they let that. This is the reason why California is a shithole. Is because you have people that think that they can throw a rock at a police officer. A police officer is a civilian, and a civilian has a right to self-defense. A rock is a lethal weapon, and I think if a police officer is hit with a rock, they should be able to respond to lethal force with lethal force. Straight up. This needs to stop. It could kill them? Yes, it does. It needs to stop. W, bootlicker take? It's not a bootlicker take. Would you really think somebody should be able to throw rocks at a person?
Somebody said that's a bootlicker take. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's a bootlicker take. Why did you say Gator Gitmo? You go exactly. Or upper, Kwame Kaji, or upper room. Shout out to AC.
It's crazy.
Are now on the lookout for a suspect who appeared to fire a gun at them. And now this from the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, who posted on X. The FBI has issued a $50,000 award for information leading to the conviction of an unknown subject who appeared to fire a pistol at federal law enforcement
officers crazy.
Near Camarillo. And here is another shocking detail. According to Customs and Border Protection, 8 unaccompanied minors, all here illegally, were found.
So there were 8 kids that were found working on a cannabis farm during the immigration raid, and all of the protesters were trying to protect the illegal migrant slave child labor. Oh, wow. Ain't that something? That's crazy.
Yo, bro, he hit it right on the head. Like, we always make these allusions to the Democrat Party being the Dixiecrat Party, the party of slavery. And Tito keep reiterating this, and we keep rephrasing these policies so you can see they are still the party of slavery. Like, a lot of this immigration policy shit, aside from them trying to redistrict for the 2030 census, is them wanting whole scale, basically slave labor, paying people wages that they would be that are slightly above what they would receive in their own country. And no one is talking about the massive child trafficking. And like I said, the place they just raided, like he said, they're over here defending slave labor. They had minors in there working the fields. Working the fields. How ironic for the Democrats. Working the fields. Shout out to Irvin Reed with the $10 super set. He said, right. They not like us, and I want some. This is America. Hashtag F all you hoes.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your
Brother Zeke says they are not ready for what for what the rest of the world in Nigeria. You were in Nigeria a few years ago. Apparently, police shot at protesters who were protesting. Police brutality. Yikes. Whatchamacallit? O'Shea Dude Jackson just did a video about this, and he's in Uganda. He was like, yo, they don't play that over here. He was like, yo, you do what they're doing there in LA, because O'Shea's from California. He was like, yo, they'll shoot you dead in the street. Bro, I just left Colombia. Trust me. Cops don't really mess with you, but do not fuck around. Like, you do not want no problems with law enforcement in Colombia, bro. I'm down here in Peru, and they look pretty serious too, but trust me, bro, all that extra, bro, you don't want no problems in Colombia, bro. Like, they police is like the military. Yeah, brother Zeke, over 110K unaccompanied migrant minors apprehended at the U.S.-Mexican border in 2024. Bro, there's a lot of weird stuff going on under the Biden administration, man. Because that shit was Chomo Central. You know what I'm saying? Irvin, same folks defending this are the same ones covering up. Yep, it's covering up all the Epstein lists. Yo, bro, like, bro, we know what it is. And like I said, bear in mind what you're talking about here. And the Keisha is like is voting for this at a 90% clip, and they're the guard dogs and the attack dogs for this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the key thing we came down to in this space, us realizing that our political interests and Keisha's political interests are not the same. You feel me? All right, let's go.
Who would do that? Police officers aren't civilians. Let me search that up on Grok. I'm going to look it up myself. Actually, I'll just look it up on Google. Police officers are generally not considered civilians in the context of law enforcement. While they're not members of the military, they're sworn law enforcement personnel. Okay, so you're right. That's actually okay. So broadest sense, civilian is not a member of the military. Okay, within the context of law enforcement, civilian also refers to people who work within law enforcement, sworn officers versus civilians. So it's a gray area. So that's fine. They're citizens, not civilians. Okay, so no, you guys are right. I won't say that again, or at least I'll try not to. It seems like that's an inaccurate way of explaining things. They're not civilians, yes, but they are citizens, and citizens do have the right to self-defense.
There is now an investigation underway for possible child labor violations, they say. All of this as we await a decision from a federal judge in California who seems inclined now to severely limit immigration enforcement efforts by the Trump administration. This Biden appointee indicating that she may issue a temporary restraining order today, essentially siding with litigants who argue that ICE agents are violating constitutional rights. So far, she says she has only reached a tentative decision, writing, "It is truly a tentative. It is not final. My intention."
I disagree with shooting people who throw rocks at police.
And of course, they got a Keisha judge. They got a Keisha, bro. I didn't even see this segment when I just said what I said. They got a Keisha judge to issue another injunction and try to block Trump with this deportation effort. What is she saying? It is truly tentative. It is not final. My intention coming into this hearing, given the urgency and weight of the matters at issue, is to issue my ruling tomorrow. And I'm gonna tell you what this is. She didn't see the ruling come down from the Supreme Court. She didn't see that other judge get arrested. They still got a Keisha jumping off the drawbridge. She didn't see that Congresswoman get indicted. She like, okay, I'm gonna step in here, put my toe in it. I'm gonna see which way the wind blowing to see if I really want to buck up and have the administration come after me, bro. They got these goofy Keishas as crash test dummies, bro.
There's a scale of lethality of weapons to rocks. While they can be deadly are nowhere near as deadly as guns. They should be arrested for assault, but I don't believe they should be shot on sight. If someone shot you with a gun while you were wearing a bulletproof vest, do you think that they should be able to shoot you back because you're not wearing a bulletproof vest? Because if the police officers are wearing bulletproof vests, which makes the lethality of bullets less common and less likely that they will, that they'll get hit by them or killed by them. If someone shoots at you, you should be able to shoot them back, yes. But why? Why should you be able to shoot them back if they shoot at you? Self-defense? Well, no. We'll look and listen. We'll let this person explain themselves. It's proportional force, but it's not proportional because the police have stronger guns, they have better armor, and the person that they're shooting at doesn't have a body armor on, and they don't have those guns. There's absolutely not equal force at all there. It's not even remotely close. The police have a massive asymmetrical advantage, even when it's gun versus gun. Why do we have to pretend that people who are here illegally have any rights or constitutional protection? Look, I don't think they should. I think we should just get them out. Because guns kill people way more often than rocks do. How many deaths per year happen due to rocks versus guns? Well, how many deaths happen when somebody hits somebody in the head with a rock versus a gun? Right? I mean, like you're really comparing the two things. Like it's like how many people steal horses versus steal cars. Well, how many horses are there? How many cars are there? People aren't throwing as many rocks. So the reality is that this point's irrelevant. Once you initiate violence of no kind, you have no right to determine what the right response is. Yeah, exactly. And Goliath, yeah, literally one of the most famous stories in all of human history is how a rock killed a guy by hitting him in the head with David and Goliath. The idea that rocks are not lethal force is a complete lie, and one of the, again, most told and most understood stories in the entire history of mankind is about how a rock killed someone. There is no defense that is justifiable that says that shooting.
Oh, that's goofy. I dropped something decent too. I was saying Red Sigma, like I literally just put your comment on the screen. Stoning was how they deleted people in ancient times. So a rock is a weapon. And I was like, yo, Osmond's about to make the David and Goliath comparison about it being a rock. Oh, I fumbled that. I was really right on time with that one too. I had my mic muted because I was over here coughing. But yeah, Osmond about to make your argument. Yeah. So a rock is a weapon. Facts.
Shooting somebody after throwing a rock at them is not totally fair. If someone came to your house and started throwing rocks at you and you shot them, I would want you to not go to jail. I think that's self-defense.
Coming into this hearing, given the urgency and the weight of the matters at issue, is to issue my ruling tomorrow. But she has also said that she does not want to burden what she calls lawful law enforcement activities. And again, that decision should come down later today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Doug.
They used to stone people to death.
You know, this is also strange, and maybe the strangest part of that ruling right there is the idea that when did federal judges begin giving alerts to what they're going to, how they're going to rule tomorrow, which at some point it starts to make you think that it's all kind of a coordinated effort to give people time to the ACLU to have a press conference for.
Bingo. Yo, right on the nose. Right on the nose. And this is what I'm saying is like Supreme Court's already issued their ruling, their initial ruling. At some point, they're going to have to get these lower court judges in order, or Trump's going to do it. With them infringing on the executive power. And basically, by these lower court judges doing what they're doing, they're basically thumbing their nose at the Supreme Court. There's going to have to be fucking repercussions of some furniture moving.
For example,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, this judge, if this judge does go forward and issues this temporary restraining order, this is the equivalent of a judge making a ruling that the DEA can't go search individuals for drugs and narcotics on Skid Row in LA. It makes no sense. They're carrying out federal immigration law. And one of the groups in this lawsuit, CHIRLA, the Coalition for Immigration Rights LA, is been tied to the Alvarado, Texas attack that, you know, where the 10 individuals, and we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. But, you know, connect these dots and you see what is literally a federal judge now stepping in to say that the federal government can't carry out its duty for federal immigration law.
Yeah, they obviously can. I mean, the federal government overrules the state government. We fought a whole war over that. It's pretty obvious. Per California law, if your house is broken into and you're at home, it's suggested to try and escape. Confrontation with a gun will put the homeowner in jail. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not, but this is what I think you should be able to do. If somebody breaks into your house, you should be able to kill them with no restrictions. Period. That's it. So whatever that law is, that's what I support. Whether with with a knife, a baseball bat, a gun, a saw, whatever you want to use. If you break into somebody's house, you should know that your life is on the line, even if they try to run away.
The judges are the new face of the resistance for the liberal left. And when they started doing it, Charlie, was when President Trump won office. They did it during his first term with all these nationwide injunctions that were issued. Now they're doing it again during his second term.
What if they're teenagers? Well, then it sounds like they'll never be adults. Parents should have raised them better. Don't care.
But we need to be honest about what Democrats are doing. Their desire is to protect criminals.
Yeah.
You look at the deportations of these illegal aliens that have taken place under President Trump. 70% have been criminals or individuals pending charges. These aren't moms and kids that the Trump administration are trying to deport.
Yeah,
they're illegal.
Yo, I just noticed this. Y'all go to town in the chat with these y'all go to town in the chat with these rock references. I've just been throwing stuff on the screen now that I'm reading through this shit. This shit's funny as hell. Hold on, let me read some of the jaws. Storm said, I hope Trump remembers this when Newsome go begging for federal funding again. Let him suffer. Bro, that's the other thing. Like, I think Trump be torn between trying to have consequences, but him also being a responsible, like, he thinks like a CEO. Like, every state is like a department inside of the corporation for him. But at some point, he's going to have to let some of these mofos starve. Brett Sigma says Trump need to go scorched earth. Yeah, me too. Yeah, let me run the. I didn't see y'all go to town with these rock analogies. Irvin Reed said, didn't Cain kill Abel with a rock? These are hilarious. Plymouth Rock landed on us. A lot of death and damage. Y'all niggas are stupid. Irvin Reed said, Rockford Files caught a lot of criminals. My dad used to watch Rockford Files all the time. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, lower courts legislating from the bench think they can fly under the radar. Kwame Kaiju says, if a person throws a rock at me, then I'm throwing the planet Jupiter back at him. Hey, I didn't peep on this. Y'all funny, man. Oh man, Irvin Reed said, yeah, this is why you don't bring a sword to a sling fight. That's actually true. Who's this guy? Malcolm Gladwell. I forget what book this is in that he wrote, but he was doing like a discussion, not a lecture, but he was trying to put in historical perspective, like the story of David and Goliath and how they present the story as from a physicality standpoint, that, David being a young shepherd, et cetera, and Goliath being a Philistine and him being a giant. I think it was like around 8 feet tall, et cetera, and him being a great warrior. But he was saying that the story is actually a skewed story when you look at military history from that time period. And he was saying that their armies, even before archers, they had like the sling corps, basically. And he was saying back then, from a warfare standpoint, that if you were proficient with a sling, that was the equivalent to being like a sniper in modern day times. So he was saying like that actually from a military standpoint, if you look at the story of David and Goliath, that right from the outset, it was a mismatched encounter that David had already won before they even before it even, he was like, it was an unfair match from the start. He was saying that like basically the skill level of the people who were masters with slings back then, like they were like snipers, and that they could actually dent and that they didn't even use regular stones. There were a particular type of stones that they used that were like shaved down in particular shapes and sizes, where they were basically like bullets, and they could penetrate armor and shit like that. So he was saying like, so from a parable standpoint, like it's a good story. He was like, but actually from a military standpoint, that it was mismatched from the start, like that Goliath never stood a chance. And I thought that was actually a pretty good story. I was like, you know, when he explained it from a military standpoint, I was like, damn, he's kind of got a point there. Irvin said, yeah, Trump is walking as close to dictator without being one. I mean, truth be told, Trump is operating well within the scope of his executive powers. The delineating factor is that he's basically willing to exercise them far more than any recent president in history, which also is an indication of the willingness or not willingness of other prior presidents to want to actually get things done on behalf of the people. You know what I'm saying? Oh wait, here's another Rock one. Shaquille's favorite personal TV show, Martin, was Brother Rock. Y'all funny, guys. What's this? Irvin said no. Oh yeah, no ATLs, no Phalanx, no Sparta. Yeah, the Roman army. Yeah, had the slingers awful. Yeah, that's what it is. No news. River rocks. Exactly. That's what they are. River rocks. He was saying even the rock that he slung at Goliath wasn't a regular rock. It was a river rock. Exactly.
Illegal aliens are gang members. They're terrorists as well. And you talked about the Alvarado attack, the ambush against the ICE agents there. They were outfitted in black military style clothing, 12 sets of body armor, 14 guns, fireworks, spray paint, two-way radios, and anti-government propaganda. What do you think that sounds like they're preparing for?
Well, look at the video just from last night, from yesterday in Camarillo, Texas. It's unbelievable. The one news agency caught on camera what appeared to be, and you can see the protesters.
They gotta do something about this, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. The more that people are able to do this, the more people will do this. You have to you have to hold these people accountable. You do. You have to do it. What's next? The bombing? Yeah, and you see now, like, you're starting to see more and more people. It's almost every day now that we're hearing about a shooting with these ICE interactions. And I want to rewind 3 months ago to 4 months ago, whenever this started happening and it started heating up. And I said, this is what's going to happen, is you're going to have more shootings, you're going to have more confrontations, etc. It's only going to get worse. Exactly. And so you can't have delinquents throwing rocks. Yes, they're going to escalate. I said it was going to happen, and there it is. Stop calling them protesters. They're rioters. Well, I mean, they're just criminals, right? I mean, that's it. And yeah, peaceful shootings. Is it true most of the shootings and violence happen in California? Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is with California is that it's also it's the biggest state, it has the highest population in the state. And so because it has such a high population, then obviously you're going to have a lot of incidents happening there, like logically.
Federal immigration vehicles with rocks, that is assaulting. That is textbook assaulting federal immigration, trying to deal with illegal aliens, 10 of which are minors. Now we're talking about child labor violations.
Yeah, they need to go after these people. That they got to go after these people. They got to hold them accountable. And I think these people need to protect themselves. Like, really, I mean, like, you're throwing rocks on people. Like, this is, again, run them over. I mean, if they ran them over, I wouldn't care. I mean, if somebody, here's the thing, right? If somebody gets in front of your vehicle and starts throwing rocks at you, I think that you should be able to run them over. Absolutely. Why not use rubber bullets? Because they're not using rubber rocks as a deterrent. Death is a better deterrent than a bruise. That's the reason why.
Yo, he said because they're not using rubber rocks. And death is a better deterrent than a bruise. That's bars, bro. Like, that's bars. Death is a better deterrent than a bruise. I like that. Oh, y'all still going with this rock shit? Solid as a rock. Third rock from the sun. Africa, Bambana, Planet Rock. Planet Rock. Rock, steady, rocking all night long. Y'all think it's funny. Oh, Red Falls, you watch Metatron too? I'll be seeing some of Metatron stuff. Oh, man. Yo, yeah, y'all still... Yo, but yeah, death is a better deterrent than a bruise. That's a bar, bro. That's a bar. And why are they not using? Why not use rubber bullets? Because they're not using rubber rocks. That's funny.
At this pot farm out in Camarillo, look at him just pounding that, and then the one news organization capturing video of what appeared to be an individual firing a pistol at ICE, at federal law enforcement, and that those are fireworks, by the way. It's
and this is my thing off. This is what I'm talking about. And this is what American citizens are pissed about, bro. Ain't no way, bro, that you as an American FBA is going to be in broad daylight firing shots at federal agents and not get gunned down in the street, or a white boy. Like, what is we talking about here? Like, they would have just opened fire on all of them. Like, and that's why American citizens are pissed. Like, yo, like these people are getting away with like all this stuff that we as American citizens would never be able to. Oh wait, y'all still going? Hold on. Y'all still going? Christ, so I said rock bottom, bebop, and rock steady. The Rock has come back to Cleveland. Yo, that's mad funny, bro. Yeah, he said Quiet Storm with Ninja Turtles. Yeah, okay, you caught that one too? Yeah. Man, that's mad funny. Yeah, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Like, no FBA would have been able to open fire on federal agents in broad daylight and not get a barrage of bullets. This person then walked away and got away, and they
this
offered
has gotten
a
out of
reward.
hand. This is a point that when you see this sort of response, and again, remember, this is a warrant that was being carried out. The federal immigration authorities got word that there were these two farms, one of them a marijuana farm, that was employing illegal aliens. They went in to carry out federal law enforcement and round people up. In it, they found out that there were these 10 unaccompanied, 10 underage minors, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors.
Which is kind of interesting. And then
so they're literally defending child labor.
To have a federal judge then say that
why do so many people in your chat feel like arguing that a rock isn't a deadly weapon? It absolutely is. Because they disagree with ICE, and so they're not really like. So if it was ICE throwing a rock at a random illegal alien, they would say that ICE officer should go to jail instantly. It's not about the action, it's about who's doing it. There's no actual principle in this argument at all. There's no logic in why it's okay or not. It's just simply, it's okay because it's my side that's doing it. And so I'm going to work backwards to justify why it's okay they're doing it. It's not about if a rock is lethal or not. It's about how much more lethal a gun is compared to a rock. Okay, then don't use a rock. If somebody pulls out a knife out on you, do you think you should have the right to shoot them? Of course. This logic is, again, if you apply this logic in any other situation, it immediately falls apart. It's retarded. There's literally no defending throwing rocks at people.
Rounding people up because they're brown or because the color of their skin or because of the way, because of the language they speak. No, the whole point of a warrant is that you're not doing those things, that you're doing it with actual cause for. And of course, we've been talking about this all week with all of this crazy stuff going on, that at some point, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you have video of a protester firing a gun.
Well, and that's what the borders are. Tom Homan has been saying. He's saying, look, this is going to end with someone dying. This is going to end with ICE agents dying. And then what are Democrats doing? You only have Senator Fetterman who is saying, look.
Oh, wait, this is the first segment I went over. All right, so Osmond reviewing the same clips I'm reviewing. Okay. Brian Will, I see you in the Playboy. Oh, wait, hold on. We got more rock action. What we got? Hold on. Rocket Man. Quiet Storm. We got J Rock, Bob Rock, Chris Rock. F it. Lakers Lakers down at 5. Rock this town, rocket it, shout out. Yo, y'all niggas is funny. Scott LaRock. Interesting story. I just found out recently that Scott LaRock joint might have been a hit, and he was actually hit by a sniper. Interesting inside story. Red Sigma, get up, Rock. This one's funny. I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand. Chris Rock, I remember that joke. No News is saying, yeah, lock the farmers up too. Remember, they froze black men out of the can. Hey, facts. They froze black men out of the cannabis game. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these Trump policies is loosening stuff up for black men. I'm hearing a lot of boots on the ground, a lot of brothers getting construction jobs, trucking loosening up, brothers getting hired on the spot on construction sites. Hey, man. Hey. I ain't even mad at it. You feel me? Let me jump through this because we actually covered this at the beginning. All right, Bell, let's jump to this part. We covered this on this stream. All right, so I see Osmond covered the same clip I covered.
That's absolutely why it's happening, by the way, is that the reason why they want the agents to reveal their faces is so they can dox them. In my opinion, I think that if the agents have to reveal their faces, go ahead. But we have to look at what doxing, like why somebody is revealing this person's personal information. What is the reason for doing that? And the reason for doing that is to put their life in danger. And so I think really, if you want to go after that, that's fine. But you've got to go ahead and hold those people accountable too. The FBI needs to investigate them. Yeah, of course. Gangs will send their shooters. Yeah, sure.
4 arrested out in Van Nuys, California, for placing allegedly tire spikes in the road, puncturing the holes of ICE vehicles, trying to stop that raid. By the way, that raid, a legal raid being carried out by warrant. And the same day, you've got up in San Francisco, agitators confronting ICE outside of immigration court. We have seen that in sanctuary cities like San Francisco, where the authorities will not turn over criminal illegal aliens that have deportation orders, they just turn them loose on the streets. ICE trying to pick them up, but they're getting resistance and being assaulted there. And then finally, as we've been talking out in Camarillo, California, the unbelievable, there's a $50,000 reward. The U.S. attorney out there, Bill Isola.
Who thinks this is going to be the end of the line? Really, this is just going to keep getting worse. It's going to keep getting worse until the police and the federal government grows a fucking spine and they actually hold these people accountable directly and they respond to lethal force with lethal force. That will make it stop instantly. I guarantee you.
Saying that they want to capture that individual that appeared to fire a weapon, fire a pistol at ICE agents who were carrying out a lawful 50K warrant. Yeah. This is the first 10 days of July. If we stay on this trajectory, Lisa, that's why
they're too worried about how it'll look. I think that's right. They're afraid of the optics of it. But I think that they're afraid of the optics of it, but I think that they're misreading the optics. I think that if they shot these people that are firing guns and throwing rocks at them, I think a lot of people in the country would be happy. I certainly would be. I know a lot of people would be.
Yo, I just said that. And I think too, yeah, they're afraid of the optics. I think two things are going on. They're trying to avoid the optics of this, although they did shoot the one guy in front of the ICE facilities, who's bro. They got guys running up on ICE facilities and headquarters with automatic weapons. Like, bro, this is full scale insurrection, like on the streets of the U.S. by some U.S. citizens and cartel-backed. This is an insurrection, like literally. And Trump was saying before this, like this is an invasion, and we're seeing it. And I'm with Osmond on this. Like, I think that a couple well-placed shootings will deter a lot of things, and I think the majority of the Americans will be okay with it. I think the mainstream news and press will try to spin it for what it is, but it's like I was saying earlier, like any American citizen watching that, like especially black men, we're looking like, bro, there's no way in the world we could open fire on the cops or federal agents in broad daylight and not get. You understand what I'm saying, T? So we looking at it like, yo, shoot these. You know what I'm saying? They not even citizens. That's my take on it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All right, that's. I like Osmond. I like his take on stuff, and then I like how he argues with his chat, and he makes good logical arguments. And I've said this before when I first started reviewing the Osmond stuff on Osmond Gold stuff, like the news segments on the news show. It may not seem like it, but it's him having very similar political takes on some of the takes we have is pivotal, because he's got like 20 million subscribers across all social media. Like his audience is Gen Zs and millennials and some alphas. So that's a huge counterbalance to the mainstream media. These people are, because he made his bones and became famous on Twitch from gaming. He's been doing this for like 15 years. But like this guy dropped, like all the videos he drops do like 500K or like 1 million views. Like he's making ridiculous money. But like he's got a massive audience. So a lot of me reviewing this stuff is a temperature check. Kwame Kadri, you saw that Scott LaRock documentary? Yeah, and like one of the members from Ultramagnetic MCs, who was actually a producer and was rolling with Scott LaRock and KRS-One earlier during the day, back in the day, he was there when it all went down, and he knew all the back end with the business and the politics. Oh wait, we got some more rock action. Roxanne Shante. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Y'all really with the towel with this jaw. Hold on. Bobby Brown, I want to rock with you. The Lord is my rock. Bobby Brown, every little step I take. I want to rock with you, MJ. Hot Rocks, a.k.a. Fire Bullets, Ice Cube, Kid Rock, hashtag Kid Rocks, Kick Rocks, hashtag F all you hoes. Yeah, exactly. That footage was looking like The Purge, man. Underrated candy, Pop Rocks, Pop Rocks actually is a underrated candy. Actually is an underrated candy. Pop Rocks is the ish. Yo, remember they used to tell you if you like put Pop Rocks in like a soda or something like that and you drank it, it was going to make your stomach explode? I smoke rocks. Dead ass. AI Keisha. Yo, that shit is funny. I created rock and roll, Little Richard. Yeah. Scott LaRock was assassinated. Yup, it's said G. Yup, Universal Black. All right, y'all know what I'm talking about. We will rock you. Hell yeah, Queen. Pop Rocks and Coke. Yeah, no bueno. All All right, guys, we at the 1 hour 49-minute mark. All right, thanks for putting the one in the chat to do the final segment. I'm glad I pulled up that Osmond Gold because I actually had wanted to review the footage with the actual shooting and everything. I thought that was going to be attached to that first segment I did. So this is perfect. Like I said, I will more than likely tomorrow night be back with Saturday with another news desk. If I don't work out something with Slipknot and Mr. O for a Demon Time reboot. So we may have a Demon Time reboot with a rebrand with a different name. If not tomorrow, maybe the following week. If not, I'll be back tomorrow night with a news desk. Once again, I want to thank everybody who showed up for the Obsidian interview yesterday. That's a little piece of history on the channel for us, man. We was pretty psyched about it, and I think it's one of the best conversations and discussions with Obsidian that I've seen. One with him in the studio, and then, like you said, it was kind of loose form conversation, but we asked really good questions, and I think Obsidian enjoyed himself. He was very well engaged. That being said, gentlemen, until next time, man, I'm going to say like I always do right about now, man. I will see you tomorrow. I appreciate all you guys leaving comments on the long form content, liking and sharing long form videos if you can. And if you guys can, the MTV News Desk is a podcast now. I've been, if you go to the main channel and click on podcast, if you could just play the podcast and put it on loop repeat and let the ads run, that would be great for us. It'll run up our watch hours and our ad time. We're going to add this one to it. That being said, man, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow like I always do. Good night and good luck.
Breaking news. Red Lobster has announced that they no longer will be accepting EBT. Our team is on the ground now breaking this live.
Y'all, this is some bullshit. They bring back the cheddar biscuits and do some shit like this? Be fucking for real. Oh my God.
Are you fucking serious? How the fuck is we supposed to pay then?
Well, I don't think they should have been taking it in the first place, if you ask me. I feel safer here now.
Breaking news. Breaking news. You said hot girl summer, but accidentally caught feelings. More from our investigators now.
Sources confirm that after 3 late-night FaceTimes and a playlist he made just for you, you are now spiraling. We interviewed your best friend, who is currently screaming, "Block him," in all caps.
You once said no strings, no stress. But now you're 3 TikToks deep into how to make him obsessed.
Thank you for watching TikTok News. And remember, don't fall for that good morning text. More tomorrow.
Panel. This country needs stronger border security. Our border security is the strongest in the world.
What we need is to take care of our children.
I can't get an erection. You think giving them amnesty is fair to the people who are already here? They're contributing to the economy. I've tried all the herbs. Amnesty is never the answer. It's not amnesty. It's recognizing their contributions to our country. They said to meditate, but I keep falling asleep. We need stronger vetting.
And to enforce the laws already on the books.
I'm terrified of being alone with my wife. It's too much pressure. Well, nothing's ever going to change if Congress isn't willing to compromise. Exactly my point.
A wall would solve this.
I wake up with an erection, but never when she's in the bed with me. A wall would solve nothing.
These children have rights.
I spent $3,000 on a sandals vacation thinking that might do it. Know what it was? Me being limp on a lazy river.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you to Peter Griffin.
No, don't send me home to my wife. Democrats. Panel. This country needs...
Sorry.
Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.